So it looks like Tesla is making even more moves to roll out full self-driving. First, Elon Musk just announced that FSD will have chill, standard, and hurry modes. This should allow riders to set their preference. Second, code was found in an upcoming update that hints at guest mode. We'll explain more. And finally, FSD is about to roll out in China. A report from Reuters is saying Tesla is preparing to register its FSD software with authorities in China. This will allow internal testing of FSD by Tesla employees on the public roads. Not only will this provide a new revenue stream for Tesla, but this might also spur on other countries, perhaps other automakers. I've got Larry Goldberg joining us. Larry is a multi-entrepreneur and he's traveling Europe right now. Thank you so much for taking some time to join me, Larry.
It's great to be here, Herbert.
FSD is continuing to progress, and some of these new information we're about to share is big because these are features that are showing you that robotaxi is actually about to happen. So first, Gali is one of the original Tesla bulls. He's interviewed Elon 2018, one of the first, and he said this: FSD is too aggressive for me, even chill mode. Can we have turtle mode? That's super duper cautious and slow. The perception of FSD safety is challenged by rapid acceleration and jerky moves. Everyone should start on Tesla mode. Okay, but the interesting thing is Elon replied and he said FSD will have chill, standard, and hurry modes. What do you think about those?
Well, I think, I understand the chill, standard, and hurry modes. I think it'll be responsive to robotaxi riders who will be able to say, look, I'm in a hurry, or take it easy, I'm very nervous. And in any case, it's not a bad thing to have these different modes. Obviously, I mean, there should also be a Copenhagen mode. I'm in Copenhagen right now.
Yeah.
And, in the streets, the pedestrians mingle with the traffic, not like New York, where the pedestrians and the traffic, are in contest with one another as to who can make it and who can break it. Here, the cars and the people kind of get along. They all just get along. People interweave, and the cars interweave, and the cars go. I mean, it's quite something. And you have many two-way streets where there's only enough space in many places for one car to pass through, and the other car has to somehow find a spot where it can pull over to the side at the one point that the road is wide or that the cars aren't parked. Then the other car goes through. It all just works. So FSD has to learn, that kind of mode, and it has to have multiple modes. So this is very interesting that they're going to give the rider the opportunity, or the driver, in the interim, the driver, but certainly the rider in due course, the ability to choose the comfort level.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Like chill mode in New York is going to be very different than chill mode in, like you said, Copenhagen, right?
Oh, yeah.
The chill mode in New York should still be aggressive mode, hurry mode in Copenhagen.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't get off the parking spot. You'd just be there forever.
Mm-hmm.
But in Copenhagen, there's this subtle dance that's done by everybody on the road, and of course the bikes are everywhere. I mean, bicycles everywhere. And there's one traffic light, I'm going to take a picture of it and post it, where there are 6 different modes of traffic lights.
Oh, interesting.
There's for the pedestrians, there's for the bikes, there's for the cars, there's for the buses, and then there's the right turn. It's the only right turn lane I've ever seen where the car has to wait for 2 cycles before it actually gets a right turn because of the pedestrian and bike traffic. So it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Okay. Well, it's interesting that these chill, standard, and hurry modes are phrased this way as opposed to safety. This is interesting. So we'll see how this works. Thank you for your comment there. This is the next thing that's very interesting is code has been found. The next update 2024.14 is going to have guest mode, another mode. So this is pretty cool. Omar says the Tesla API lets you turn on guest mode on a car. When in this mode, it'll show the QR code on the screen for someone to get a temporary phone key like what Hertz does. So this is the actual code that was found. We'll go through this slowly here. It's kind of interesting. So it says here, restricts certain vehicle UI functionality from the guest users. Like you can't, I guess you can't pin to drive, you can't speed limit mode, you can't do glove box pin, you can't add, remove keys, you can't change the vehicle name. Thoughts on that?
So, it's very important to be able to give the guests control over their environment in the car, but in
Yeah.
such a way that it doesn't impinge upon the security of the car as far as the driver's ownership is concerned. So there's some functions that have to be separate, and I think they will grow over time, the functions that they allow the guests to do and the functions that they reserve. So I think this is really excellent.
So the next bit here talks about, the ability to erase the user data on the vehicle, and then you could set up a user. The user can actually use the Tesla mobile app, access with a vehicle key card, and as soon as they unlock the vehicle or authenticate it for a drive with a key card, they then will see this QR code on the vehicle touchscreen, and as soon as they scan that, and that QR code is only for single use, expires after 10 minutes. It's brilliant. Once you have that, then all of your profile to download it. So if you've used a Tesla before as a user and you're switching from one rental to another rental, doesn't matter. You scan your QR code, it knows who you are, it'll come in. And then you can view, the user can view live vehicle location, issue remote commands, and set up their phone as a key with Bluetooth proximity of the vehicle. Guest access will not have certain driver access features such as service and roadside. Guest access is automatically removed as soon as a key card is used to drive, as soon as somebody else has used another key card or a new QR code is scanned, guest mode is disabled. And then in addition, one can use the driver's remove endpoint to remotely revoke guest access. So of course the owner can do that. This is great. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, this is exactly what you experience when you rent a Hertz. Now, I have my profile with Hertz. I've already done that. I've rented several Hertz Tesla Model 3s and Ys. I get into the car, I scan my code, and it immediately makes me feel like I'm in my car at home. It adjusts the seat, sets up all my defaults. I'm good to go. And so it works extremely well. It's ideal for a robotaxi, and they'll evolve it. They'll get even further along with preferences and so on. But it's really shaping up very well in terms of the robotaxi service.
Yeah. I love it whenever you see code like this, it making it out. And a lot of things that they were doing even before, as soon as it comes out years ago, you kind of have a sense that they're doing that because they're preparing for a future that's robotaxi. And
Yeah.
this makes me wonder if any other automaker, when they copy Tesla, these are all these little features that they still need to do as well. So that's
I
fantastic.
haven't seen anything like it. I haven't seen anything like it. The other evening I was at dinner with. I've been having dinners with and lunches with friends from X on the way, and we were talking about her husband who has political issues with Elon, has bought a
Yeah.
Polestar. We're
Yeah.
talking about trying to drive the Polestar, and the comparison between the two, it's very funny.
Yeah, exactly. A long way to go. All right, so let's. The big news here is what's happening in China. So there is now news or some indication, rumors, I guess. Tesla is preparing to register its FSD software with authorities in China. This is the news from Reuters again. Tesla makes push to roll out advanced FSD self-driving in China, and according to 3 people with knowledge of the matter. So what's happening is a successful software registration with China's Ministry of Industry and Information Tech will pave the way for Tesla to internally test FSD by having its employees drive on China's public roads before delivering it as an upgrade to its Chinese users in the coming month, said two of the people. So this is just another one of the steps that needs to happen. Yeah, what is this? I guess this is what we're all expecting to hear, right? Little bits of news like this.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we hear news like this in Europe as well. I'm driving the old version of FSD, as are the Chinese drivers here in Europe. I mean, I'm driving it here in Europe, as are the Chinese drivers driving it in China. And
Yeah.
there is no comparison. I mean, there's no comparison. I just drove 3,000 kilometers from the south of Spain to Copenhagen, right through Europe, from
Yeah.
from the southern westerlymost point of Europe all the way to the far north in Europe, far northeast in Europe. There's no comparison, and so I think China is going to take to this like I mean, they're going to be like ducks in water. It's going to be amazing, the rate of evolution of FSD in China. Absolutely amazing. And the Chinese are very savvy in this kind of adoption. It's going to be great.
Yeah. So the new governments is absolutely accelerating how fast they move. Right? They're slow. They say no, and then as soon as they say yes, everything just flips on, and you see every level of government making moves. So right now in China, Tesla offers owners of its vehicle access to FSD. You can pay one time $8,800. It may also offer the service for a monthly fee equivalent to about $98 in the future, they said. And then if you push the rollout of FSD in China, not only will this create a revenue stream, it's going to pressure other EV startups to accelerate their research and development, said Yale Zhang, managing director at Shanghai-based consultancy Automotive Foresight. And then it says here, Tesla will be joining 10 other automakers and suppliers, Huawei, Xiaopeng, in offering so-called level 2 autonomous driving capabilities. And while Tesla will be charging for FSD, Li Auto and Xiaopeng have offered equivalent driving systems for free on high-end variants of their models, while other automakers such as NIO have offered buyers a trial period without charge. So, right? So this is like, yeah, okay, right? They're allowing FSD. That's going to happen. And then it's equivalent. And then eventually it's going to just, show people that this is way more than everything.
Yeah, Tesla are so far ahead of the others in terms of of their capability. So I think that comparing it to these other automakers as if it's just a fact that they have this capability is it's amusing, and it's going to be a while for them to catch up, but they will catch up. They will catch up. There's no doubt at all in my mind. But China has, interestingly enough, used Tesla as the pioneer, and this is just a continuation of the same.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. So when Tesla gets the FSD, rolls it out, and then they get a lot of people are now thinking that they will be the first robotaxi. We've been reporting every week. Sometimes I think last week, the week before, many cities and I think 6 cities, if not more, in China have already authorized that they are open to robotaxi services. These things happen, they roll it out. What's going to happen to the Chinese competitors there? And what's going to happen to the rest of the world, all the other automakers?
The other automakers are going to have to come to the same realization they came to with EVs. They're going to have to realize that all these ideas they have of of robotaxi, are, they're going to have to do the hard work, and some of them are going to take the intelligent move and talk to Tesla about using this corpus of data that Tesla have got, and using Tesla's technology. It's a given that those automakers who really want to get this thing done, and they're going to have to get it done, are going to have to license it from Tesla. So, people have been writing in X from China and saying, oh, the Chinese are way ahead. They're already doing robotaxis. Yep. Yep. They're doing it like way doing it. And like Waymo, they're losing their pants and will continue to lose their pants. The only way to do it is, with the cameras, with the training, with exactly what Tesla's done. And it's
Mhm.
going to take them time, or they're going to have to license it. My
Yeah.
sense
I,
is
I
that there will
mm,
be at least two or three of them that will license it.
right. What I see happening is, until now, it was something that every automaker knew that they needed to do, but they just did it just to
Mm-hmm.
show. And they felt like it was, pie in the sky, still much further down the road. And so they're not put the pressure. As soon as they see one automaker, in this case Tesla, comes out and says, we are now rolling out true robotaxi global at scale, it says to them, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
better either, get in and invest significantly because we can't be that far behind. But also, once they realize it will take them 3 to 5 years or longer, they might as well partner with Tesla. And then what happens is, as soon as, like you said, two or three have partnered with Tesla, it becomes obvious at that point that do you want to join the big group that is gathering so much more data now because of all the partnerships, or do you want to still do it on your own, or do you want to create your own consortium? Um, but who's that going to be, right? So then it becomes this domino effect, and everybody will want to join this massive group because it is data driven.
That's definitely the Tesla bull thesis, and it's hard to see. It's very hard to see who's going to get there as well using the the lidar, perfect map solutions.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I can see a drive from the airport to downtown. I can in Shenzhen. I can see that. Okay, great. That's not going to get them there. And just as Waymo's not going to get there. Waymo's the cost that the money that Waymo is pouring down the drain is just ungodly. And the Chinese are not going to do that. They're just not going to do that. It's not how they do things.
Yeah, several of them have already announced they're going to go to neural nets and that they're going to go through vision only, drop the LiDAR. So that move is already happening. What do you think? What is your answer to people who say, oh, okay, so Tesla rolls this out, robotaxi, it's just software. Others will then be able to just copy it.
The number of LLMs that have been successful are you can count on your one hand. Why? Because LLMs need data. Who's got the data? You've got Facebook, Meta have got the data. You've got Google, they have the data. You have Microsoft have the data. And that's the sum total. Maybe AWS, but that's the sum total. So it's easy to say, well, we'll just do LLMs and vision, but where are you going to get the data from? They haven't got. There aren't. There aren't 100,000 vehicles in China with 8 cameras. There just aren't. They haven't been
I think what they're
making them
saying is
yet.
that you can just copy the weights, the neural nets software without the data because Tesla's already done it. They figured out, how to train it. You just copy it. Can you do that?
Oh boy, you can copy the weights. I've heard that kind of. You can't just copy the weights.
You can't. Yeah.
You just cannot just
Yeah.
copy the weights. Firstly, in order to copy the weights, you have to have the exact same camera structure. You have to have
Hmm.
the inference chips you need in the car have to be
Hmm.
at least as good as the inference chips in the Tesla vehicle. The cameras have to be at least as good. Then the configuration has to be at least the same. I mean, by the time you've finished with the at leasts, you have to license it from Tesla. You're not going to be able to just use the weights. You're not.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think even Tesla has said a few times, right? This is not just software. This is hardware, software system, the neural nets, the inference chips, the training chip, the data warehouse. All of this work so closely together. It's no longer this thing where you just copy software and all of a sudden it happens.
The auto
Interesting.
industry is used. The auto industry. We've spoken about this before, you and I. The auto industry is used to buying whole systems. They buy from Bosch right now virtually an entire the electrics of a car, and they buy it as a system. They don't buy it in pieces. They buy from these tier OEMs. They buy the whole system. That's how they've been. That's how they've been doing it for years. Now in China, it's somewhat different. Some of them buy the whole car. Some of them buy parts of the system, and some of them try and design it from the base unit up. But you can't quote just use the weights. I mean, anybody who says that has got no clue about how this whole package, this whole. I mean, it's a very complex piece of hardware, software, and integration.
Okay. I am trying to find this video because you and I interviewed you where you did a very deep dive, very deep in terms of the partnerships, what it would take. And you showed through a lot of your own analysis, right, that the Tesla, the tier one suppliers, how many of them are there, and how eventually it's going to turn out that Tesla, they'll need to partner with Tesla to be a tier 0.5. That's how close they need to be there.
Yeah.
Trying to find the actual, what do you call it? The title of this thing. And I can't find it right now, but yeah, I think there's why Legacy Auto has no choice but to partner with Tesla. That was a fantastic interview called Tesla Inside. If I'm able to, I'll post it here. But people should follow you, and they should go and check that video out because that was so many months ago. Let me just take a quick look here. Yeah, that was, sorry. Oh my gosh, this was a long time ago.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It did very, very well.
Yeah,
but yes, I encourage people because you were so far ahead telling people how it's going to work. And you actually came with a true, full research. That was good. And it's happening. It's going to start playing out the way you said it.
I think so. I think, we will see this thing unfold. 8.8 is very important. The event on 8.8 is very important. We're going to see the roadmap. We're going to get real indication of what the plan is. And then, I think we'll see the first chip fall early in 25. First OEM will sign up early in 25. And Tesla is going to have to set up a group to support this.
Yeah.
Just as they did with the supercharging network. It's going to need an entire business group to actually support this. But I think it's coming, and I think it's very close to reality.
It's coming soon. Okay. Thank you so much, Larry. That was great. Lots of features coming. Guest mode. You've got the ability to change the speed and how aggressive the car is moving, and then continued reporting every week. Almost seems like China's cities and governments are making allowances and preparing for Tesla's FSD and other automakers, and they're really moving fast. Hopefully we'll see other countries like the US step up their game as well. So follow Larry on X at Tesla Larry. And again, every once in a while, he does deep dive research on things and he shares data that you haven't seen before. So thank you so much, Larry. Appreciate you. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.